This is Bart from Team Tranquil Voorschoten with my spear deck. I'm placed at number 38 of the 297 people played. There were 6 rounds in on day 1, and in day 2 I couldn't come, so my place was I went 5-1, so really great. Maybe I could place top 16 with day 2. So here's the deck. For the main deck, I play 3 yaksha for the search, 3 nikitama for the draw and the extra normal summon, and 3 katakare for the exceeds. That's really your whole combo to your exceeds. 1 yaksha and 1 resetsu. Yaksha for the backrow and resetsu for the monsters. I play 2 fire hand and 2 ice hand. It's a really great card. I will explain later what this does in the deck. Play main deck Thunder King, 2 banishers and 2 false dinos. So in total I played 20 monsters. This is a kind of anti-meta deck, and I thought about side decking these, but I looked at all the top tier decks of this format and basically thought that False Dyna and Banisher had to be mained, and Thunder King also, for the most results. Of duality, 2 MSTs, lands, and of course you play Spirit, so creature swap is really good. You take your opponent monsters and you basically win with them, so really good, and you get your opponent's advantage from them. And then play Sun Warning, Ball Grapple, Tranquil, and that's for the monster removal. And for the backrow, the similar for the stopping the attacks, and this I play 2 Mirror Force and 2 Prison. I thought about playing just 2 Prison, but this is an anti-meta deck and I want to protect my monsters, so I added 2 Mirror Force at the last phase, and it basically worked out really good. So, and 2 Phoenix Chains and 2 wiretaps. So yeah, I play 42 cards in total. I want to play less, but all the cards are really needed in the deck, so I couldn't play any less. The Wolf Chain and Abyss Weather, and I play 2 Black Shift Corn, 1 Reconciliation, 2 Silent Monarch. I play 2 King of Pharynx, 1 Photon Imperative, 1 Geiger Cowboy, 1 Maestroke, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 1 Fair Chirgo, and 1 Wind Up Sandmeister. For the extra, for the side, I play 1 Jinzo and 1 Desmonet. I play 2 King Tag Wangoose, 2 No Man of Crossout, 1 misplay for the extra backrow destruction, 2 Zombie Bolts, 2 Lightning Prism Mirrors, 2 Debunk, and 2 Overword. Now I'm going in why I main certain cards and why I play certain cards in the extra and the side. But basically the cards that gave me the win were Wiretap, Creature Swap, False Dyna, Banisher, Thunder King, the hands, and Yaksha and Resetsu. These were the cards actually that gave me most of my games. Oh, pluggy. But basically, you use 2 wire taps to negate your opponent's traps, so you can go through with your monsters. Creature Swap is for mainly putting on for creating actually a game for your own. So you take your opponents, they have a field of like 1 or 2 monsters, you bash over 1 and then you take the other. So, and 2 ice and 2 fire hand. I could have played 3, but mostly I play 2 cards because when I play 2 I draw them actually more than I play 3 of them. So basically I play 2 and 2, so I may basically draw almost every turn. I draw one. No, every first turn I draw one hand and basically poke their backrow away from them and the monsters. And basically you main these cards to stop your opponent's plays and give you a 50-50 chance of winning against all decks in the meta. The first game, these decks, if you draw them, you basically mostly have game if you control your opponent's field with them. If you don't draw them, then you can search them actually with the lavalval chain. There's a combo within the spirits. Why I play this deck is one, you have let me get it. The spirits, these are actually your core XC items. When you summon the discard, you can search spirit from your deck. There's also your other spirits, so also these two. So you can basically get the backrow away and the monsters away, or you can just succeed with them. So you summon these or set them. Your opponent attacks and they go to your hand. You can search this one. Then the main combo with this is you normal summon this card, normal summon this again, get a search, then special summon this card. You can go for chaining 1, chaining 2 because these are mandatory. So they can't do Divine Wrath or negate the effect of him actually. So you exceed with these 2 and overlay this. Then you detach the nikitama. Because there's a spirit on the field, you can draw 1 card. So with this is chaining 1, chaining 2. So chaining 2 first activate. You put any card you want on top of your deck, basically a Turner King. You shuffle your deck, lay him on top, and with nikitama you can draw to your hand. So next turn you can summon Turner King. You actually just draw it, so you already have it in your hand, and then your opponent basically need to play around the cards you just searched, so it's really good. The other cards I play with this are these cards, and confirms they do exactly the same. You detach this one, search this one and that, so you have exactly the same cards in your hand again, plus a king of on the field, so that's a great combo. And third circle you can basically go +2. So when you have spirit on field like this, when you have 2 of these in your hand, or 1 of these and do 1 of these, so you summon him, you normal summon, and when this card's already on the field or set, you can flip it face up, search another one, overlay these 2, overlay, I'm getting a bit messy here, overlay these 2, spirit on field. So you can draw actually 2 cards with this. Next turn you can normal summon again, search again, and then draw another 2 with this. So it's really great to get advantage, but I didn't use it today, so maybe some other time. For the extra deck, the side I play 2 overt. I didn't play this at all. I want to play actually for this card is Soldering, and another card. I thought of first playing a Silver Sentinel because it's really backrow destruction meta, so you can just set it and your opponent will pop it, and then you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls and special summon this card. So it's really great advantage card, and it's basically if your opponent MSTs it and then try to go for a play and then set another 2 back, or you can just pop 1 card they control and they can't respond to it. So I'm reading. Okay. So yeah, just play the Soul Drain with this instead. Great against the Mermill matchup. The only matchup I lost against was Mermill, because I didn't drew any Banishers or Thunder Kings. So yeah, that's really bad for me. And he drew extremely well, and he had all the outs to my card. So the Soul Drain is really good against that matchup and really helps your plays go through. And it doesn't hurt your deck, and that doesn't hurt your deck. So it's really good option. Debunk, because again the Mermill matchup and a lot of other decks. For example, Grafa, whatever deck that activates in the grave or hand, so it's really good. Lightning Prism Mirror. You may find it strange that I play Nikitama and Banisher on the field. Actually, when this card says when a monster effect is activated, but Banisher and also Nikitama is a continuous effect. So even if it's negated, it still goes through, because this doesn't negate the effect of this. And if your opponent failure, Nikitama or Phoenix Change, that doesn't matter, because it's a continuous effect, and this effect is already gone off and applied to the field, so you can just normal summon again. So it's really good to bait your opponents into misplaying and Banisher for controlling the field. So I play this against wait, I have the list here. Against Bujins and wat zijn die ook weer, die heet het backrow neerleggen. En dat zijn allemaal monsters.
Bujin?
Die allemaal monsters zijn in de backrow.
Artifact.
Yeah. I play this card against Artifact also, because it basically stops stops them. So it's really great. And Banisher also. So if you have those two side in or main deck, you basically win the duel against them. Play these cards against Bonards also, and basically all team decks that use a specific type. For example, well, you can play it against Gyria, but it doesn't really help. So Bujins against, you can play it against Bujins also. So Zonworld is a good card. I didn't play it once, but it was there when I needed it. So the one with Space Phone is a back heavy format. So next time Space Phone is always helpful. The two No Man of Crossout. I thought about playing a Gravekeeper. I didn't see them once, but it was against them. And also the Gyria matchup. I won that matchup against Gyria because I sided in King Tiger Wangu and No Man of Crossout, and they couldn't do anything because King Tiger Wangu basically wrecks their whole deck when it stays on the field, and No Man of Crossout basically removes their face down monster. So when you have King Tiger on the field, they summon them, they set a monster, and then you basically No Man of Crossout, and then they don't have anything to come back at you. So they minus a lot and try to make up for it, and then that doesn't work. So it's really good. And against this format, it was possible against direct damage, so I played these two, but I didn't saw them all day, so I was really thankful for that. The changes through for the main deck are, I like Phoenix Chain because it can stop a monster's deck, but I would like to play Preparator Skill for them, because it's another monster effect negator, and it can also be used in the graveyard. So you have to play smart with your Banisher with this card, but it also negates the monster effect, so it's really great. And yeah, it basically gives you another negate, and this card can be MST'd with almost everyone played 3 MST in MST's main deck. So basically this card is really good. That was changed. I want main deck and one Rosetsu. I didn't use it actually all day, so I wanted to play another yaksha because it's 1900 stack and it's a water monster. So for the Abyssweather, it also gains 5 on attack when you use yaksha for it, and it basically removes all your royal decrees of your opponent's monsters and basically fuck their back row up how you want it to. So basically you want to play 2 of these. For the extract, I want to play 2 of these also, because it's really great against almost every matchup you play against, because all effects actually go off a new grave and basically stop hands and all that shenanigans. The Valve Chain, I wanted to play 2, but I didn't have any more, so the Valve Chain actually search your monsters, get your hands ready for your opponent plays, and basically stops them in their tracks. So 2 would be better. I want to play 1 of these and maybe take out these 2 for another of these, because yeah, they're basically better than this card, and this card only gains advantage to your hand, but that's about it. So this card basically search your and stops your opponent, so search your cards you want, plus instead of just drawing and hoping you can get them. So that's a better option. Didn't play any of these, but there are in the deck for basically remove your opponent's cards, Book of Mooning and keeping him alive, going for game, and also chaining a token attack and inflicting huge amount of damage to them. So it's really good if it's there. Also 2 is great with this card. I made 2 actually, so that was good for me, and Bastion of Corn was good at 2, so because the hands and also low level attack monsters really just wreck your opponent's field. So American Zero against the Bujin matchup and also Fire matchup. If you summon this against them, they can't do anything because you can activate in both their turn and in my turn. So basically inflict a lot of damage, attack also, and basically game from there. So what's the thought about this deck? I played this deck because I wanted to play spirits. I wanted to play spirits with 3 hands, but I didn't have any, so I thought about creating a new kind of deck. And I basically you look at the meta and think about what works against them and what deck can play with those anti-meta cards. So I play these cards for the deck, and you win actually only with these cards and the hands. You basically wreck your opponent's field, they can't do anything, you protect your own monsters, and then it's game from there. So really great deck. Just look at your just look at what your opponent plays and what your meta plays and what your locals plays, and side against that. So and main it against deck. So I think try this deck out at least once. It's a fun deck to play. It's not a fun deck to play against, because a lot of my opponents basically rage quit against me. Yeah, it's not really fun because your opponent cannot do anything against it. Yeah, so basically it fucks your opponent field up and basically gives you the game. So I think that's about it. So rate, comment, subscribe, and if you have questions, just comment them down below in the comment section. Bart from Team Tranquil Voorschoten.